Yo guys, and welcome back to another Spore creation video and the latest weekly request, a Jowwdan. This is a Jowwi Rodan hybrid which is designed by Hazilla in the community. He's had quite a few of his Jowwi kaiju hybrids appear in the weekly requests lately, and I gotta say it's really cool seeing you guys vote for his artwork. It's just really like, it's something about the community voting for what the community themselves have produced. I just think it's really cool. Not to mention, more Jowwis, more kaijus, it's always good, isn't it? As always, if you guys do enjoy the videos, I'm gonna say in every video, please don't forget to comment down below. That way the videos get pushed into people's feeds, more people see it, and it overall just helps the channel a lot. You guys have been doing it a lot recently. It's really been making a very large and noticeable increase in views among the entire channel. So like I said, it does help. Please keep doing it. Now then, for the actual creation itself. I always have such the hardest time with wyverns lately. Ones like Rodan in particular, where they have the very large, broad, flat wings, because as I've mentioned time and time again in Spore, large, broad wings are really not fun to do due to animation, due to clipping, due to texturing. There's so many like various things to take into account, and overall it's really hard to have like that nice, large, consistent surface that isn't completely flat, completely bare and boring, can like curve nicely like a wing does, such as in this posture here. And like I said, there's just so many different factors to pour in. In the end, for the wings of this Jowwdan, I went with, I can't remember the name of the part, but as you can see here, the large, you know, fin-like pieces. And I tried to stack them in such a way so that each of the stems, if you will, or the fingers, like technically in the case of the wings, just so that all the textures kind of overlap nicely into a pattern. And when it textures out, I actually do really like it. The animation is okay, given again the way I tend to make this type of wings. They really can be hit or miss. I think this one just barely passes as a hit, so I think they're good enough. I'm quite happy with it, to be honest. Especially as I mainly wanted to capture the pose, the posture that Jowwdan is in the artwork itself. I wanted that large, open, broad look, so I am quite happy with how it is. And again, like I said, I didn't want it to be too plain in terms of textures. The rest of the body I found fairly straightforward, nice and simple. The the small legs in comparison to the large torso was a little bit, what's the word? It was a bit jarring for me because, as I said before, I do tend to really focus on anatomy and proportions. I like things to be rather consistent. And Rodan does have much smaller legs, or at least a Jowwdan certainly does. Like I said, it was jarring. But I think overall though, with the large, grandiose size of the wings, I do think it offsets it quite nicely. And same with the little small tail as well. I had a lot of fun doing the fins and the spines going down and back and towards the tail. Had to try and make sure that the tail one's curved nicely. There are a couple that do kind of pop out a little bit. I can't really do too much about that because again, at the end of the day, sport has its limitations. But overall, I am happy with how it's coming out. And after I'd gotten the major, more important proportions out of the way, i.e. the wings, the legs, the tail, etc., the next part was the more intricate part, which is the head. Now, in the artwork, the Jowwdan head is very colourful, very detailed, very iconic in a way, or very characteristic more like, and I really love the design. But I had a very hard time translating that into Spore because, like I said, it's very colourful. I did initially try using one of the beak parts from Spore, both the regular Spore's version and the Dark Injections coloured variant. Neither really did what I wanted to, and they both had a rather weird shape as well. In the end, I went with this Dark Injections head here, a very armoured, bulky looking head. Unfortunately, it didn't really colorise in the way I would have liked it to, since the beak parts end up coming out grey or silver instead of, well, any other colour to be fair. In the artwork, it's a very vibrant gold beak. I couldn't really do that here without it looking very silly and very bold. Because again, unfortunately, as much as I do enjoy adding custom coloured pieces, they do tend to look very cartoonish. And in this case, I thought it'd be a bit too jarring, so I stuck with the silver beak in the end, but still tried to add a couple of various recolouring parts or textureless parts into the head. That way it would still try and intertwine bits of blue and beige into the head in its own way via the textures. And overall, I do like it. I do actually like, in the end process, I do really like how the head came out. but it did come with like a fair amount of struggle, a bit of, you know, trial and error, problem solving. It was very back and forth, but I do think that the end result is quite adequate. I do quite like it. It's not entirely representative of the original artwork, but I do think it is still a really nice catch on the original thing. I especially like the eyes. The eyes were something very, very new, since if you guys caught it earlier on in the creation, I used the very feminine looking eyes from Creepy and Cute. And it's a part I never really used because it is very, very feminine. And I decided to try it here because in Hazilla's artwork, the eyes are a very large, vivid green with a very nice large pupil, and they almost look cute in the way that he's drawn them, which is very good for a Jowwi hybrid, because Jowwis do typically have large, cute eyes. But if I used the regular bulbous ones from the cell stage, that would have looked a little bit too silly. So I went with the creepy and cute one instead, and tried to add like a couple of details covering the frame of the eye, and I really love how it came out. It just looks far more detailed. And it's probably saved me a ton of complexity, because normally to achieve that kind of appearance, I end up using a variety of Campbell's colour pack and colour spheres, which does the job nicely again, but at a far greater budget. Here I'm really, really happy with it. It's probably my favourite part of this creation. And of course the horns and frills, I like how they embed into the face as well. Then we have the ridges coming down the stomach and torso. This gave me some serious, I'm not sure if it's like deja vu or something else. So technically not really deja vu, but I have done this technique before. And just like how I'd done it before, I felt that same bit of dread. Because I think it was another Godzilla creation. It was definitely another kaiju for sure. And when I'd used the technique of making the torso very rigid and very spiky, what ended up being an issue, and inevitably happened here as well, is that when I tried having a different texture for the underbelly, the parts would still inherit the base colour texture. So in this scenario, the base colour is blue, the underbelly is meant to be beige, but the parts on the underbelly still end up being blue regardless. They end up being just very blotchy, kind of jarring. Not really the most satisfied with it, so I had to sacrifice the texture I normally use and try and find something a lot more stronger. Overall, I do like it. I do like how it came out in the end. It's just, I really wish that the colours were neater overall. And then again, it is a kaiju, and not only that, but it's also like a very scaly, very like mottled kaiju in a way. At least that's the vibe I get from the artwork. And personally, I like mottled designs quite a bit, so I felt like it came out quite nicely here. It's just, whenever I do a creation based on a reference, I try to get it perfect. I try to like really make it a like-for-like mirror. I couldn't do it this time, but I think still though, as an overall Jowwi kaiju or a Jowwi Rodan hybrid, personally I'm really happy with it. I hope you guys are as well. I hope you think that I've done a good enough, you know, rendition of the artwork. And especially, I hope Hazilla is happy with it, since it was his design after all. So guys, as always, thank you very much for watching. Please don't forget to vote on the next weekly request in the poll on the upper right hand corner. And like I said earlier on, do comment what you think about its creation, or just to say hey, it really and truly does help. Once again, thank you very much. I'll catch you all next time, and have a wonderful day. Cheers.